you for tuning in live today with Miami View Women. We have back-to-back shows for you. If you tuned in at 5, we had Justin Wills, who was amazing. And now we are with our very own special guest, reunited with her, Irela Bague, our first chief, Miami-Dade Chief Bay Officer. And it's crucial that we're having these back-to-back shows because we've got so much to say and there's so much going on in our community that we are willing to work that much harder to bring you more information and more news, especially on something as pivotal as Earth Day and Earth Month and our climate justice. And so I'm here with Yvette Harris, who is amazing from Harris PR. And Irela, I cannot wait. Like, thank you so much for being here and taking some time off because you are just working so hard. I mean, it's hard for us to even get on a phone call these days. But congratulations on your new position. And before we get started, I want to introduce you to our new co-host, Yvette Harris, because I know the last time that you were here, you didn't get to meet her. And so Irela Bague, Yvette Harris, Irela Bague.
Well, it's so great to meet you, Yvette. And
you too.
Well, not virtually. We've emailed each other on occasions, but it's great to meet you virtually, and hopefully soon we'll be able to gather in person. And Carolina, it's so good to see you again. I missed you guys. And Miriam, who's behind the scenes, our beautiful producer and my mentee, who I love so much. And I'm so glad that we were able to kind of reconnect because it's true. I've been incredibly busy. It's been it's been great, but it's been crazy busy. Just transitioning into government and then really hitting the ground running and just moving all these policies forward, initiatives forward, just really trying hard to focus all of our efforts to improve the health of Biscayne Bay, which we all know is in peril.
Yes, and that's why we're here, viewers. We are going to dive deep into this conversation. Yes, pun intended. Today, it's Friday. And happy Earth Day. But yes, viewers, if you have any questions for Irela, she's going to bring in so much information today, so much education, so much insight as to what's going on with our Biscayne Bay, who is our lifeline to Miami-Dade. And so please don't hesitate to write your questions in comments. And Miriam is in the background helping us out as well. So let's dive into the state and health of our Biscayne Bay. But before that, let's dive into your job, right? So what is your job? You are the very first Chief Bay Officer of Miami-Dade County. Literally, our Miami-Dade mayor, first woman Miami-Dade mayor, created this position for you. So what does this position entail?
Well, the position stems from a recommendation in the Biscayne Bay Task Force report. So there was a task force created a few years ago by Commissioner Rebecca Sosa, who I always want to give a shout out to, another woman in the environment working hard for us. And that position was really because the county has never really had an advisor on these issues, a collaborator, an advocate just for Miami-Dade County and the Bay issues. And so that was really the premise of developing that recommendation. And then later, as we all know, the task force, which I sat on and worked with other experts and community leaders, we delivered this report full of recommendations to the county commission. Unfortunately, and in a timely fashion, it kind of timed the whole fish kill we had last summer. And so it just kind of really put a spotlight on the work we did. And, in a way, if out of that huge, horrible, tragic incident, something good happened, which is everyone woke up. It was like a woke moment for the Bay. And so, after that, it was like, all right, we need a Chief Bay Officer. We need this, we need that. And so I never intended really to take the job. I was part of creating this job. But then I realized that there's just so much that needs to be done. And I've always done this in my private career and, private sector. I've always been that collaborator, that coordinator, communicator. And so I said, we have this amazing mayor that's made the environment top on her administrative priorities. And why not? I'm just going to, dive in with her. She's a water warrior and they call me the water princess. So what a great dynamic duo to attack this. And of course, there's many, many people behind the scenes and working hard in all of our departments now, kind of really focusing their efforts. And I got to tell you, even at the state and federal levels, really, the Biscayne Bay has finally become a state priority, something that I've been working on for over 20 years. And finally, our state legislature is working hard to get us funding. We need desperately funding for really, focusing on our ecosystem and our part of the watershed down south, because we've heard about all the work they've done over the years in other parts of the state. Well, now it's our turn. And so we're starting to see the focus there. So I'm very happy that this session is coming to a close, and I think Biscayne Bay is going to be a winner this year. And kudos to our state legislators for that. And then again, this position is kind of like, again, I'm an advocate, I'm an advisor, and I'm a coordinator. And I think I've spent most of my time really coordinating multi-departments, right? Because really the Bay touches everything. Water and sewer, DERM, which is our environmental management division, in solid waste, the port of Miami. I mean, our Bay is our ecosystem. It's part of our quality of life, but it's also, the fountain of our economy. And, right now, sadly, we've seen how that's affected our tourism because of the pandemic. But imagine if these fish kills continue. So we really don't have any time to waste. We really have to focus all of our efforts and start getting people off septic systems. And, I'm just going to give a little snapshot on all the issues that are affecting the Bay, because it's not just one smoking gun, it's many. And so we have, what I like to say is, like, everything we do on land ends up in the Bay. And we take a lot of things for granted. So, like, our septic systems, there's septic systems right now that are compromised because they're in low-lying areas. So when it floods, they don't work, and that groundwater is, impacting the Bay. We have stormwater systems and our canals that keep us dry and our properties dry, but at the same time move a lot of water through these systems, and everything that's on the street, fuels, oils, all that stuff, and trash, lots of it, goes right into the Bay, through the outfalls. And so we have that. We have aging infrastructure, old pipes that need to be replaced right away in an expedited fashion. And then, of course, debris, plastic pollution, we are bad to our own environment. And it's just really frustrating. And so public education is one of the biggest challenges that I face in my job. And so as many opportunities that I have, and thank you for giving me this forum again to talk about the things that I'm passionate about.
We're here without you, por favor. We love you.
Because we really need to start getting folks to understand that,
Yes.
we're so diverse, and we have people that come and make Miami their home from all over the world. But the ways we deal with trash and pollution in different countries is different than what we do here. And so everything is kind of like interconnected here. And so, again, it's raising that awareness and helping people understand that we can help nature, because nature helps us, So that's. Yes. So I'm sure you have tons of other questions.
Well, you made a really profound statement, and you unpacked a lot of items that most people were not aware of. What would you say to a family, a person, a young person, like any person living in Miami-Dade County that wants to know, well, where do I start? Because I think sometimes not necessarily people not wanting to be better and do better, or to, contribute to protecting our environment. But a lot of people are stuck as to, where do I start? What can I do on a daily basis that I can do and I can promote in my family to do? What would you say to them?
That is my favorite question, because everyone is responsible and there's lots of things we as individuals can do. Like I tell people, why stop using plastic? There's no reason to be buying plastic water bottles. In fact, the water that comes out of our tap is way better than something that's been sitting on a shelf God knows how long. Okay.
It might not have been regulated.
Encapsulated in something that's toxic. You know, and so little things like that, it's like people don't realize that we have really good water here. And so we take it for granted. I mean, just use one of these things. These are great. And they keep the water cool. You know, they're great. And so that's one, for example. We just passed a fertilizer ordinance limiting, you know, the time and the amount that we should be fertilizing. And again, during the rainy season, when it rains, grass doesn't really need so much fertilizer, right? I mean, come on, it's one of those. And so those are the kind of things you could be doing. Look, yay! I love Miriam. She pulled up our beautiful new webpage dedicated to Biscayne Bay. And so if you go to miamidade.gov/Biscayne Bay, you will find lots of tips. One other pet peeve of mine is if you're walking your dog, please pick up the dog poop.
Yes.
Believe it or not, it's full of nitrogen.
That part.
Nitrogen is one of the nutrients that are impacting our water quality big time. It's phosphorus and nitrogen. And in high amounts, it affects the seagrass. That's why we have seagrass dying in the northern part of the bay. What happens when seagrass dies? Well, manatees have nothing to eat. So what happens? This is one of the worst years for manatees in history since I can remember. Okay, it's tragic. And so, you know, everything's a cycle. It's all affected. And so, and guess what? Seagrass is life. So no fish, no fishing, you know, recreation. And it just starts affecting our economy in a way that people really don't really think about all the time, but it's the truth. And so
absolutely. I mean, our water is our economy, right? It's what brings our tourism and what brings all of that. And I like what you said, that, you know, buildings, transportation, waste, all of these factors are part of the problem. But I also love that Miami-Dade County has a solution and you are part of that solution. So with miamidade.gov, Biscayne Bay, that shows us a report card. It helps the public decision makers to access and interpret information on the health of Biscayne Bay. Then it helps people like us to figure out what can we do, how can we engage and help. And then there's another one too that I saw, miamidade.gov/climate action strategy. And so I found that really interesting because these are like really high stakes that you're pretty much working with the federal government. And I saw that like by 2030, Miami-Dade will try to cut the emissions in half. And by the long term would be net zero carbon by 2050. So tell us more, because I've really been diving into this information. Give us more details of what this entails, because I know you, Miami-Dade, our mayor, and everyone that's working with this have real solutions that you are bringing to the table.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, of course, climate change impacts everything, right? So I say climate change is interconnected to everything. And so as we start seeing like the bay fish kill happened also because we had high historic heat levels last summer, okay? Combined with, you know, bad water quality, you have those kinds of situations. We have king tides and flooding that's happening because of sea level rise. Well, that's an outcome of climate change. And, you know, if we attack the root of the problem, which is lowering, all we have to do is start lowering our emissions, then we start solving some of these problems. And again, it goes back to individual actions, right? So we're starting to hear all this electric cars, electric cars, electric cars. That's a good thing. You want to start transitioning. And I'm very excited because we're living in that, that time where there's this huge innovative transition into, like we're gonna be able to live through that. When they went from the horse and buggy to the actual car,
Yeah.
that's how I see it, right? Like this whole shift in our lives, in our lifestyle, that's going to completely transform. It's a transformative time to be living in. So I see challenges, of course, with climate change and attacking those issues, but there's so much opportunity too, right? Because we're going to be seeing new industries crop up, which will create new jobs. But these jobs will be around clean energy, right? So how do we transform our buildings so that they're not, because they're high emitters. Our buildings we're dealing with buildings, we're dealing with our transportation systems, okay? And then we're dealing with, like, of course, our individual actions. And so it's like we're kind of all in this together, kind of thing. And so again, it's if we attack the root of the problem, we start helping all the other issues that are associated with. And again, heat is something that heat is something that we're going to be really focusing on as part of this plan, and really working on how do we build a canopy? How do we bring shade in a nice way? How do we throw shade all over Miami-Dade County in a nice way, right? So that we can cool ourselves off. There are communities that have no trees and no canopy, and trees are part of creating mitigating a lot of the emissions and such. And so we need to start going into all of our communities and treating everything the same. And so it shouldn't just be certain parts of our communities that benefit from that. It should be everyone.
And you were talking about electric cars, and from what I was hearing is that Miami-Dade plans to go solar over the next 10 years. Even installing charging stations, and then hopefully making our public transportation electric. So all of this is really, really powerful change for Miami-Dade County. I mean, I don't think anything has moved this fast in regards to climate justice ever.
Well, it's all about leadership, and our leadership. Once you have the right leaders in place, and our county commission is also transforming, and we have some really amazing new commissioners that are young that want to see change now, and I love that, and so that's what government should be working for the people. It's always been that way. It hasn't always been that way, and that's what I think is trying to change. And the mayor with the Thrive 305 campaign. That tell us what you guys want. I mean, who does that? That's people are like, what, you really want to know what we think? Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm not used to that kind of I call it in reach, right? It's not outreach, it's more like in reach. Let's go in and really reach.
And part of Thrive 305, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still trying to catch up to everything that you guys are doing with Thrive 305. So part of that, it says, you definitely want to keep receiving feedback from residents, so it can benefit all of our community. And then it goes into access to energy for all, helping combat structural racism. So how does that work together with climate justice? Because we know climate justice, structural racism, and all of that are interlinked. So if you can tell us a little bit more about that.
It's not my area of expertise, but I can tell you that it's a very important mission for our administration. And again, it's what are the needs that are out there, and we know where the need is. So let's bring the resources to where the needs are, right? And if we, as far as for example, our public housing communities, let's listen and let's make things better. let's about transportation. I was one of the Thrive 305 ambassadors, and I was facilitating a conversation with with a group of citizens, with residents from Miami-Dade County, and it was great because it was a cross section of people, like people from Miami Beach, people from Homestead, people from North Dade. It was beautiful. It was like, wow. And I got to tell you, amazing ideas came out of that. And it's like, all you have to do is just listen, and then act. And so great ideas came out of that. We also heard how inaccessible and unaffordable solar is right now. And so that's something we need to look at and see how can we make that more affordable for homeowners, and working, maybe we need to be working with our local banks. And so that's where the ideas come from. You hear from the public, and then you change. Also, our transportation systems, and we need to make them more accessible to disabled and to elderly. And air, like, again, heat. You have an elderly person sitting at a bus stop when there's no canopy, there's no shade, and that's really horrible for it's not healthy. It's for a human being to go through that, especially of an advanced age. So those kind of conversation was great, because we had folks from our own government. We have folks from different departments together with our residents, talking to each other, like a little gathering, so I love that stuff, like what we're doing here. We just have conversations.
That affects all of us.
Yeah, so that was very moving for me, because, well, again, I just started with government again, but it was very moving for me to hear directly from residents, and even hear about how they want to help with environmental issues, that they want. What can we do? Like, I want to go solar, but I can't because I can't afford it, but I really want to help. How do I help? Yeah. So it's inspiring. It's an inspiring time.
It is.
So we have a couple of minutes left. Tell us that website again. And then maybe just some of the things that we can do as residents. Shared some things, but in meetings that we can attend, what should tuning into?
Definitely.
So that we could stay involved.
So the website is miamidade.gov/Biscayne Bay. And here are some groups that, join a cleanup. That's like these cleanups go on all year round. It's not just one day a year, birthday. And these are my good friends from volunteercleanup.org. And they are amazing. Dave and Dara, they're just a dynamic. And you should have them on the show. I highly recommend.
I've done my daughter and I've done some cleanups.
Yeah,
some beach cleanups.
They're the best. I love them. And join the Biscayne Bay Marine Health Coalition. I'll put the website, I think, on the chat. It's Biscayne Bay. I think it's Biscayne Bay. Biscayne Bay. I'll share it with you guys. But if you Google them, it'll come up. I think it's Biscayne Bay FL. They just changed it, so let's see. Does that work? BiscayneBayFL.com.
Okay.
And they have a newsletter. Sign up to the newsletter. They keep everybody posted, especially when there's something important, a big vote on the county commission agenda, and all of that, which we definitely need more advocates all the time. Our elected officials need to hear from us that we're doing the right things, that we're moving in the right direction. And yeah, we got to preserve what we have.
Absolutely. And also, do you want to share the miamidade.gov climate action strategy /climate action strategy?
It should be, that you can access it through the Miami-Dade website as well. And,
okay. So are they interlinked, or are they two totally separate?
They're separate, but again, it's like I said, everything's kind of connected to climate. So if we fix one thing, we'll fix the other, and vice versa. But yeah, we got to lower our emissions, and everybody can do their part.
Yes. Before we let you go, I do want to ask you one last question, which is, how do more women get involved in climate justice and these type of jobs and careers that they can really pursue if they're, looking to either change their career, or they're in college and they want to jumpstart their career? What advice do you have for women to get into this career?
Well, what's cool about the environmental movement is that there's more women involved, and it's kind of it's I don't know how that's happened, and I guess it's because it's in our nature to take care of things and just but there are a lot of good men involved. Not going to say otherwise, but I find women in these leadership positions tend to be in the sustainability and in resilience and in these environmental fields. It tend to be women, which I find very inspiring, because again, there is that avenue for us, right? That we kind of have found and kind of put our flag on. So I'm really excited about that. And I would recommend that if you do want to become an advocate and get involved, to check out the Clio Institute. They are one of the best, climate advocacy, literacy organizations in town, run by women, founded by women. My good friend Caroline Lewis is amazing. One of the best, she was like early leaders sounding that alarm on climate. And then Yoka Arditi Rocha, which is another dynamic, fabulous woman, and very diverse. And they're bringing in young people from all parts of our community, and just turning them into these amazing, educated advocates that can really, speak to these issues everywhere. I mean, I see them at county commission, city commission meetings, at the state level. I mean, they're really, so that, and then, Miami-Dade College is now run by a woman,
Yes.
And yes. It's another, that's where I went to school. It's my, I would not be here without Miami-Dade College. So I'm a very proud alumni, because it gives people, gives kids like me, I came from the inner city, the opportunity. I never thought I would be here, but it gives you that opportunity and that first step into, hey, you can, pursue an education, you can pursue a career in certain things. So yeah, we're doing good. I mean, I'm optimistic.
I'm inspired by you. I honor you. We honor you. We're so happy to have you here, because we're just, even though we don't talk much, we're like following you, and just so proud of you. I know Miriam feels the same in the background. I know Yvette feels the same. And we're just like chica power all the way. So thank you.
You can follow me. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Irela Bague. And just keep up with us. And tomorrow we're having a cleanup in North Bay Village at Pelican Harbor. We're also having a press conference about an initiative that I partnered with on behalf of the mayor, with Miami-Dade Police and Florida Fish and Wildlife and our Parks Department and DERM. And we're just going out there and educating our boaters and enforcing the speed zones so that we prevent any manatees from dying this year. So everybody slow down, because we're going to be out there and we're going to give you tickets.
Good.
Good.
Holding people accountable. Yes, we need more of that. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, love you. I love you guys. Yvette, oh my God, great meeting you virtually. We're going to have to have a happy hour next person. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll bring the vegan wine.
Yes. Wonderful.
I like that. Thank you so much. This is powerful. And viewers, please tune in next time, that we'll have Ana Parello from Miami-Dade County Office of Community Engagement, and learn how you can mentor youth through their internship program. So much more coming. Thank you again, Irela, for your time. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for all your hard work and for representing us so well.
Love you guys, and happy Earth Month. We still have a week left.
Every day is Earth Day.
Every day is Earth Day. You got it.
All right.
Bye, ladies.